Hello Madan Rai, welcome to Nepal Sutra.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm so happy. Thank you for
Because we've considered you an expert of agriculture for Nepal Sutra. We'd like to get a little background on your life. So we know you are from Khotang, but we want to hear it from you about your childhood days and your schooling and college. What were they like?
those days with my own, mother and my grandparents, who were very orthodox. We had our school opened in 2008, just after the revolution. But then, the school couldn't run properly. But only after how many? 10 years? No, 6 years or 7 years of its opening, the school became a little bit, regular. So everybody started going to school. And I also wanted to go, but my grandfather was so orthodox. He said, "No, pariguni ke kam, baluzati ma, parina chor huncha." You become thief if you go to school. So that way, I wanted to go because it was my instinct, because all of my age mates, they were going to school, running around. I thought I should also go. I cried with my mother several times, but only after 2 years, she realized she couldn't, tolerate my tears. She's my mother, so she quarreled with my grandparents and said that I'm going to send my son to school, so give me my share. I want to, be separate. So that way, she separated herself and started sending me to the school. There was another hurdle, we didn't have a high school in the whole district. So we had to go to another district called Bhojpur. In Khotang, there was no high school that time. So after my middle school, I wanted to, most of our, classmates were interested to go to high school, but my grandparents were not. But there was a condition, including my mother said, if you get married, you can go. There has to be somebody. You are the first son of our first son, so we want to see Buhari as well as somebody to help in the farm. So, I denied, but I couldn't, afford, because I wanted to go to high school. So I got married at the age of 13 and a half, can imagine. Despite of that, so I got a chance to go to high school. I did my SLC. Then after, there was a question where to go now. We wanted to, our group was still, there are so many people, my classmates who have become engineers, doctors, and so on. So after, our dream was to become engineer. I came to Kathmandu with my father. I remember that, those days he said, "Why do you carry dhaka?" There was nothing to carry because I had to walk 9-10 days, and there was no, place to stay. People didn't, people are past the way. You had to stay in the cave or under the tree, or sometimes if you get in somebody's, what do you call, goat, in a shade. Otherwise, there was no tradition. You had to carry your own, food, clothes, everything for the night. Came to Kathmandu, joined, and met with my two stepmothers. My father, I think, got married 2 wives at a time, so, I stayed. It was not easy. It was a struggle at that time. I was studying in Trisambra College. And the biggest turning point after that was meeting my father. He brought me to Kathmandu for science studies because I wanted to become an engineer. After that, there was difficulty, at home because of stepmothers. So I wanted to run away from there. I heard in, the Indian Army established army hostel for the children of Indian Army. So, Gotha Indian Army. So I heard that there was a competition, and I could fill the form. So I filled the form and sat down in the competition. I was selected, for free sheet. So that was the happiest moment of my life. Went there every day. I could find money, nice food, that was heaven. It was a wonderful day, and at the same time, the government advertised for scholarships in India for BSc Agriculture. We filled the form. We went both face interview. I passed, and I got a chance to go to India. That was another turning point. Great. When I went to India, it was like a princely, life. Good scholarships. 300 rupees in, you can imagine, 66, 67. There you go. And lots of books, new cycle, time course, so many things. So from that end, I did my BSc and then came back to Nepal, started as working as government officer in Kathmandu, worked in Viratnagar regional office for a while. I was appointed as the first seed officer of this country, handling seed production, seed distribution. And then I was posted in Mustang, where I think my life changed so much. So much of change. The biggest turning point, there are different turning points. My mother fought, with my grandparents to send me to school. And then there was another, the early child marriage. And then, finding my father, struggled with my, stepmother. And then going to this hostel and going to India, coming back. And then going back to Mustang. These are very, very important historical turning points for me. Going to Mustang was a great, great thing. There are so many stories, but now what I remember, and I'm happy that all those apple trees today, which are fruiting and giving good returns, are the apples mostly planted by me, by my own hand.
Oh, okay.
I'm so happy. And farmers remember. I had my MSc degree from UK, because while I was in Mustang, I had the opportunity to go to UK for a master's degree. And then they invited me. I was so happy. I was also doing my PhD in America, but because I got this opportunity to work as a UN expert, so I left and joined UN. It was quite wonderful. I worked in Eastern Africa, West Africa also partly, but mostly in East Africa, in Iraq, and Jordan, and Philippines, and also partly in Rome headquarters. So I'm happy that I served nearly 12 years in FAO UN, and I also worked a few years in UNDP and other international organizations. So having seen all this, Nepal, Nepali governance and then UN governance, it was interesting, seeing the governance of different countries. While I was studying democratic, countries like India, UK, America, and I went to study in Israel, the socialist country. Interesting. I did my plant breeding studies there, and also tourism and agricultural development in France and Switzerland. Wonderful. And I went to Japan for, what do you call it, very advanced, variety breeding program in Japan. I was recently, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, I was in Japan again. The whole development, scenarios are so interesting, and I feel every day that, oh, why not we? Why not we? Why can't we do? Why shouldn't we? That keeps me all the time, active.
Coming back to agriculture, because you're known to have contributed a lot in agriculture.
Sure.
You are known to have combined increased yield farming with vocational skill training in Khotang. to ensure higher levels of income and better employment opportunities to people. Tell us your experiences in doing so. How have the results been?
I established vocational center. I bought land, about 1,000 rupees, and in that I established a farm for modern agricultural, farming, modern agricultural production. So, as you said that there we, conducted so many activities of modern way of farming for higher production and higher return in 200 rupees, where we have engaged 40 youth from Khotang, and that was a big success. In 7 years, we trained 6,000 farmers, and from that, about 10 years or 8-9 years ago, when I used to visit the villages, you can't get a single leaf of green vegetable, whatever it is. If you go now, throughout the year, everybody has green vegetables, which is very, very important for our, health and healthy life. So that is one big change. And in the marketplaces, there was no green vegetable, in dry season. Now throughout the year you can get. So the consumption pattern has also changed. That changed the health of life, and also income of farmers also has increased because they could sell. And also those people who are not involved in agriculture, they can have also fresh vegetable or a kind of healthy food. So I think that in a small scale, but change a big deal, and that is becoming a tradition now. So I'm very happy. And then in electronic, we started computer campaigning or computer literacy. In 7 years, we trained 5,000 students, mostly free of cost. Before us, the one basic training used to cost 3,000 rupees, but we reduced it down to 700, and then most free as well. So can you imagine now, so many young people could touch at least the computer. Otherwise, they couldn't have even seen so many of them. That's another thing. And construction, dress, we train about 2,000 people. So overall, about 14,000 young people were trained in this, skill development, which I'm so happy and proud. But I'm not satisfied because that did not bring, quick change. I want quick change, and that's not going to be sustainable because there is a deep-rooted problem. The culture of education, style of education, there's a very serious problem. So we started differently.
You are also known to have created local expertise instead of relying on external specialists.
Exactly, that is my main intention.
Who probably wouldn't have adequate knowledge of Khotang district to prescribe the best agricultural method ways. So the pool of 60 professionals you have built in Khotang, is it 60 or 40?
There are many more now.
Oh.
Used to be the initial number used to be 40, and it went to 60. Now there are hundreds of them.
Okay. These professionals you've built in Khotang to spread the basic knowledge and techniques of agriculture and farming. How is that going at the moment? Has the idea been very effective?
The government spends about 2 billion rupees every year. The agriculture department, office spends about 50 million rupees. I have no single penny. But the impact, that our initiative has brought is many times more than 2 billion rupees, many times more than 50 million rupees in agriculture. So it is not the money, it is not the program, it is the honesty, dedication and devotion that brings the change. So I'm more than happy because these so-called local experts, you know, when they are convinced that things can happen, they sacrifice their life for their, you know, local development. And there are so many of them. They are so deep. They don't have, you know, much income now, but the progress that is happening, you know, because of them, the surroundings, like an expert who is doing some work in agriculture, because of him or her, there are 100 farmers who are, you know, so happy. Oh, this vegetable is new for me. It is growing so well. Now we have enjoyed eating. I have sold so much. Thank you so much. You know, when they come, even tears in their eyes. I'm so thankful. Nobody have shown this one. So that is a great satisfaction.
Why do you think farming hasn't been considered a business as lucrative as other professions in Nepal? Is it our ignorance? Is it our lack of knowledge? Or is it really not a field lucrative for our country?
Well, I think it is not only in Nepal, everywhere in the world, agriculture has been one of the most neglected field of profession. I think mainly because of ignorance. I think that was the point. It was a mistake of education. Therefore, these days I am changing. The whole system should change. The system of education should change. So, it is not only here. Like in America, only 1% population is engaged in agriculture. It used to be 2 before. Now everything is mechanized. I don't know, tomorrow maybe less than 0.1% will be there. Everybody will be having a screen, and then all things are done by robot in the field for producing food, which is not bad in one way. But then if we go away from, like we went away from nature to concrete, and now concrete to screen, it's very bad. We are going to be unnatural human being. That is eventually going to destroy this universe for human being, not for others. I don't know what's happening. So I think agriculture should be, that produces food for us, clothes for us, house for us, air for us, everything, breathing, eating, dressing and living. I mean, sitting or sleeping. These are essential elements of human survival. We are not close to it. This is very, very sad, pathetic thing. I feel very sad.
So as an agricultural expert in Nepal Sutra, in today's context, what do you see is Nepal's potential in agricultural farming as a major option that could contribute to the national economy if we actually exploit the nation's potential in the best possible way with the latest farming techniques and all?
Wonderful question. You know, Nepal is a small world. You know, Nepal's geography represents a small world. That means Nepal has all kinds of climate that world has. Therefore we are lucky because we can grow all survival plants for our food and for selling. That is one of the very, very, best thing to appreciate, that nature has given us. There is a big potential in Nepal's, it is the only thing, I think, as I told you before, tourism is very, very important. If we are talking about bringing 50 million tourists in 20 years, which I feel is possible. Now we are talking about 1 million, but it is only less than 700,000. So little that, it is, negligible. But we can imagine 10 million tourists in 10 years without any problem. 20 million tourists in, 50 million tourists in 20 years. That should be our target. agriculture is the only one element that can fulfill this. You know, like you can show rice terraces, or colorful, you know, what do you call, crop terraces, colorful, you know, plains, or one color, yellow, green, you know, brown color terraces, fields, to do this for attracting the eyes. Wow, what a beautiful thing. See, that is one of the things. It's not only feeding, it is sowing them. And the smell of basmati or scented rice in the field and or during eating, said, the same food which you have seen, smell, is here, taste. Oh my gosh.
Sure.
So, and touch, all these things. And, you know, and then also music in that, of, you know, insects, probably birds around. So you can attract all 5 senses and then go to the heart, you know, attracting 6 senses. With that, you can add animals, probably. Yak resort, with yaks, you know, dairy resort, with dairy cows. We'll say, ma'am, which one, you know, we have so many, we have 100 cows. These are the ones, this gives this gives it. Which one would you like to try for milking? Would you like to try milking? Okay, I mean, you can tell us, what do you want with this milk? I mean, pudding or coffee, you know, something like that. Or vegetable resort, vegetable farms, you know, you can decorate rice resort, you know, Suntala resort. Name it, there are 1,000 kinds of things that you can show and attract. That is why you know, I always emphasize that Nepal should not be doing anything else except agro-centric tourism. Of course, there are religious tourism, hydro-tourism, other things. They are also there, but they are only complementing. But these are essential elements. Every hotel must have a farm that should produce at least 10 to 20% of food.
In relation to that, I'd also like to ask you, what do you think should be the government's approach towards boosting the nation's agricultural potential?
Well, you see, now our country has been so far practicing subsistence agriculture, that we can call in Nepali nirbahamukhi. The life is no more nirbahamukhi, life is no more subsistence. Life has been specialized, life has been interdependent. Subsistence is independent life. In this technological age, it's not possible. So, first of all, government has to understand this, that we have to change our society from subsistence to commercial. Now, I think this year's statistics shows that still 66% people are engaged in agriculture. That's a huge number. We should bring, in 20 years, we should bring down to at least 20%. Only or less than 20% people should be engaged in agriculture. The 80% should be engaged in service and industry. Agro-based or tourism-based, service and industry. Otherwise, we will not have enough people to work. Therefore, we need to commercialize agriculture. We need to specialize agriculture. For that, first of all, we have to start from land holding. Now people jotne la deo, you know, give the land to tillers. It's a gone case. It's a long time story of the past. It's nobody, you know, applicable now. Give the land to those who can provide jobs. You know, not the tiller. Those who can give jobs to till. One thing only. Second thing, generation of, you know, inputs like seed. It should be done with our own money by our own people. We should not depend on foreign land, because seed is the most important thing. Now it is not. Most of our seeds are now foreign. Our indigenous, you know, gene have disappeared. We must have our own seed zone. Then inputs, irrigation, we have plenty of water. It's just we need improvement in management. Using water properly. In the hills, you know, new techniques. In the plain, new but better management. That is irrigation, inputs. Fertilizer, organic. You know, now I'm campaigning a lot. Use human waste and return the elements. We need to mechanize so that productivity increases, income increases. Otherwise, like that digging field, plowing with this traditional plow, your rice is going to cost 300 rupees a kilo, whereas the better quality rice from Thailand will cost 10 rupees. Who's going to buy 300 rupees a kilo's rice?
Sure.
Impossible to compete. Then market is our tourism. There is, you know, we have enough land to feed maybe, now we are about 30 million, another 50 million people. We have enough land to feed beautifully, organic, fresh, nice food. So if we do like this, there's no problem of market.
We did talk a lot about agriculture, but moving on, what are your latest engagements and major activities apart from your involvement in agriculture?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, professionally, well, by birth, by, you know, bringing up, and by education, by profession, I'm an agriculturist. But then these days, I have been diverting my activities little bit to other sectors. The main culture is that anybody who is working for a good purpose, like a farmer. Farmer is a hali, which is servant, small people. Cook is a servant, only women. Okay? Dishwasher is the lowest servant, less than a woman. Or a street cleaner or cleaner who cleans and makes this world beautiful. They are untouchables. What do you call we are? Mirtar. Okay? Toilet cleaners. And then the tailor who make dress and people, you know, beautify people, or, you know, they are untouchable, damai. Untouchable, small people. The one who manufactures tools, you know, engineers, mechanical engineers, they are even, they are untouchable, and also they are unseenable. If you see them, your days is gone. I mean, it becomes bad. You know? And the what do you call this? Shoemakers, they are even the worst people who should not be touched, seen, everything. Imagine these are the professions that makes us our life survive and also happy. But in our culture, what happened is, who is big and better is those who do not do these things, sit down and enjoy their goodies, you know. That was the biggest problem, and with that culture we have started education. Now I'm revolting, we should go back, learn, and in learning, reading is only one part, so we should start our education system differently. It can be done. You know, we have so many, as we are talking about local experts. In Nepal, there are so many experts. I was one of the senior experts in the whole world, you know, in my field. So there are so many people like us. There is no dearth of knowledge now. It is only a matter of making a policy and, you know, making people responsible and do from ground. We grow, I'm sure we can achieve the height very soon.
You've come to know about Nepal Sutra. It's a tourism portal with a difference. And we're incorporating a lot of features here to cover a really wide spectrum of what Nepal is all about. So what do you think of it? What are your impressions of our web portal?
I think this kind of portal was necessary for disseminating information to people around the world, because people are looking for new things, new opportunities and new learning. This can also give learning, but, you know, attracting people, impressing people to visit Nepal is everyone's job. And this portal, I think, is one of the perfect one so far.
Madan Rai, it was really good to hear about your life and your expertise and your knowledge. Thank you so much for talking to us.
All the best to Nepal Sutra.